and welcome back to Xpwaste, where I really don't think you're ready for just how long Achievement of the Week is going to be this week. Hi, I'm Oxie.
And I'm Michael. If this is your first time tuning into the show, we want to thank you for choosing Xpwaste to fill your ear holes. We're an old school RuneScape podcast that's going to talk about old school RuneScape. Sometimes we talk about the news, sometimes we talk about game updates or things happening in the game, or tips and tricks. So if you're into RuneScape content, you found the right place. So stick around. If you're not new around here, like Oxie said, welcome back. He's still doing Achievement of the Week as far as getting it inputted, because
the last 100%. Yep.
The last time we did it was in, he said early June or late June?
June 22nd, 2026.
It's going to be a while. It's going to be a big one. But you guys have achieved a lot of cool things, so I'm excited to hear it.
Y'all really have. Y'all really have. So, Michael, what do you think? Do you want me to kick off how my week has gone, or do you want to do it? What are we saying?
I'll kick it off. So this week has been a pretty long week for me personally. So my wife broke her foot last week, and I've just been naturally picking up the slack, and as well as working, and so it's been a really, really long week. And so the times that I have been able to play have been kind of nice. I've done a little bit of AFKing stuff while I was recording. So I did some sailing, and I'm up to 88 sailing. My stretch goals right now, not even stretch goals, my short-term goals, I should say, right now are to get both my sloop and my skiff upgraded to ironwood hulls. And then once I have an ironwood hull in my skiff, I'm going to go try and get the crystal extractor. And so finish the Gwyneth Glide time for the Marlin time. And then after that, it's really just going to be continuing to do sailing content, potentially until 99. I don't know if right now, if sailing is like my AFK thing that I'm going to do till 99. But currently, I'm mining amethyst. So I'm probably going to bounce around. But right now, the team needs amethyst to make amethyst seeking arrows, which Ralph has been going kind of crazy on, which I'm so excited for. Now that we have the T-bow, arrows are back on the menu, boys. And so Ralph has been making those seeker arrows, which apparently, if you're an Iron Man, it's kind of troll not to make them, from what I've heard. And so if you have Blood Moon Rises done, go make some seeker arrows, because they're just overall better. Why they're better, I don't know. But I listen to people like Ralph and Heartless, and they tell me it's good. So it's good.
You want to know how you might know if they're better?
By using them?
No, not even using them. You don't know how you know they were better?
How?
By doing the quest.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I did the new quest, the newest one, which was called the Mad Angel, I think it was. I don't have completed quests.
Fallen from Grace.
Oh, Fallen from Grace. The Mad Angel is the name of the boss, yes. But I did that this week, and I played D&D a couple times this week, and so I'm DMing my first campaign in a long time. I think the last time I would have DM'd was in 2018. And so I've cooked up, with the help of some friends, Oxie included, I've cooked up a pretty fun campaign that's set in the world of Gielinor. And our players last night, they just met Yama, who gave them some pretty incredible gifts because he wants to keep them around for entertainment. So we'll see how the story goes from there. But it is pretty fun. Like I stayed up till like almost 3 last night, just talking to one of the players after the session for like an hour. And we were going over some of the stuff and the new items that they got and some of the mechanics that we're doing. Like TLDR on the big stuff that I changed, I updated the magic system. So we're utilizing the standard spell book, and it uses mana to cast the spells rather than spell slots. And so my players are actually interacting with magic in like a meaningful way in the early game, which is really, really fun. And so I gave my player, who is a druid, an amulet that will allow him to cast standard spellbook spells while wild shaped. So it's broken and OP as fuck, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So potentially you guys may hear some more D&D updates from me in the coming weeks, because if I had to guess, this campaign will probably go on for months, potentially a year more, with the the end game of the story that I have planned, or at least the vague outline, and we'll see how we get there. It's pretty epic. And so this campaign could take a while to complete, which I'm very excited for, because any D&D player's dream is to have like a long-term campaign that they enjoy doing. We're only on session 2, and I think my players are feeling that. So other than D&D, other than RuneScape, it's just incredibly hot. I don't know if any of you guys out there listening live in hell, aka the South, but I think yesterday my car said it was 105 Fahrenheit. And so it's just been incredibly unbearably hot. But
Sounds
not
miserable.
but not where you are though, right?
I mean, it's hot. It's not cold by any means. I think right now it's actually going to be a nice rainy day.
Ooh.
At 78 degrees high. The last couple of days were in the high 80s, 90s, and then we're looking like mid to high 70s with rain for the next couple of days, which is nice. So
I'd take that. I would take that, honestly.
it's not too bad. It's fine for what we're doing right now. It is fine. It's not too bad.
Although we will have some beautiful lake house weather, so I'm very excited for that.
I didn't know they had lake houses in Texas. I'm gonna be so for real with you.
There's some pretty big lakes, but we'll have to make a drive for this one. It's not local. I don't know if I said it on the pod or before recording, but yeah, this week, once this episode comes out, I'll have been at the lake house the entire week, and I'll be getting home the day this episode comes out. So I'm excited. Having family come in from out of town that we haven't seen since last year. So it's always good to see them. And the kids are my son's age, and so all the cousins will be playing together, which is always really a fun time. Were you close to your cousins growing up?
Oh yeah, very close.
Nice.
I'm actually going to see them not this upcoming weekend, but the weekend following. We're having like a super birthday weekend, because like a lot of people this year are turning like a milestone year. Like my aunt's turning 70, I'm turning 30, my mom's turning 60, other people are turning 21. So it's like we're doing a lot of fun stuff, and yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, that's going to be next weekend. I'm actually going up north this weekend as well, which is why we're recording a day sooner than we normally would, because I too am going to be up north this weekend. It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of good fun.
Probably different fun, because I can imagine like 70 and raining at a cabin. So good. I'd rather do that than a lake house, but beggars can't be choosers.
I mean, it's all on a lake. We're staying on Lake Huron.
So what have you been up to this week?
I will give you 3 guesses.
Mahjong?
Yep. Congratulations.
Mahjong,
First try.
Getting your oil changed?
I do need to do that.
And planting daisies in your garden.
Not a big daisy guy. Don't have a garden. More of a marigold and petunia guy myself. And the marigolds have not done well this year. I think the climate where I live right now, I'm like, there's something weird about the climate of where I live. I'm like over some vent or something.
Oh.
Not like directly over it, but my area is like a weird climate zone in Michigan. So my marigolds have not been doing well since I moved every year. But I don't know what the deal is there. But no, I've been doing Corrupted Gauntlet. I did do the new quest on the main. That was what we were originally going to talk about, was Worms Craig. Kind of get excited for the new content, engage with it, and do all that. And then the minute I texted Michael that, they released the Raids 4 poll blog. So we're not talking about Worms Craig today. We're talking about the Raids 4 rewards. We're gonna get through those, which is gonna be a lot of fun because we haven't talked about those yet.
Do you have any quick thoughts on Worms Craig?
Yeah, I was gonna get there. I mean, it was a fun quest. I haven't done any tasks with Mortimer because I have a Hydra task that I was going to do. And then I went to go put my Slayer helmet on, and it said, you can't equip a Slayer helmet because you're not a master of combat achievements. And I'm like, fuck, okay. And then I went to go kill Maggot King once and died immediately. And I'm like, whatever. I'm just going to go back and do Corrupted Gauntlet on the Iron Man. But I've killed the Mad Angel like 75 times. I actually like the fight.
75 times? Nice.
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace to be able to do a boss on release and not want to, throw myself in a wood chipper like I have for the last 2 with Doom and Maggot King. So maybe he's washed, or maybe he just isn't good at PVM. I'm not 100% sure. But no, I'm enjoying the Mad Angel quite a bit. I keep testing between Elder Maul and BGS what I think is more fun. I'm sure the wiki tells me which one is better, Though honestly, sometimes I just like dumping an Elder Maul into a BGS and having fun with that, you know?
Yeah.
But so it's been fun. I got my sub-minute PB. I'm sure the CA is going to be like 45 seconds or less. CAs aren't going to be too bad whenever those come out, I'm sure. But yeah, other than that, I've been doing a shit ton of Corrupted Gauntlet. We're actually doing a competition right now in TNL. We're doing a Corrupted Gauntlet Boss of the Week. That might be over by the time this episode comes out, though I'm not sure. The funniest part is I don't think I actually signed up. I think Shinkiro signed me up.
Oh.
Like, I think I was just sort of like, yeah, I could, but I'm probably not going to be around. So like, I'm not really too worried about doing it. And then I looked on the tracking sheet because the event started yesterday. I looked on the tracking sheet and I was on there and I'm like, yeah, he signed me up.
Am I on there?
Because he was telling me, he's like, oh my God, you should totally do it. I have no idea. I don't know if he
Okay.
signed up or not. There's like 5 pages of people. He may have just pulled the entire clan for this one. So
I did not sign up.
everybody could be on here.
That makes sense.
So that's what I've been doing. Like I said, just a lot of CG. I'm up to 240 KC. I have done it doesn't seem like you're on here, Michael. Looking at it, yeah, it doesn't seem like you made it on the list.
RIP.
But
how many have you done?
I think since my last update that I gave in the last week's episode, I've probably done, I want to say like 35 more since. My current tracker reads 23. I've just like, since my client has been opened, 22, because I did die at one point on one of them, but I think I'm up to 240. So I think the last time I checked in, I was at like 211, 212. So it's about 30 something KC. And I'll probably do more when I can. The money's been nice. The crafting XP is going to be nice. I'll tell you that. That's going to be a nice little boost for the Iron Man.
Yeah, I need to get back and do some more CG occasionally. Mentally, I just need to add it to like the list of the rotation of things that I do, because I have so many. There's so many things to do in this game, and sometimes I log in, I have like 2 hours. I'm like, okay, well, guess we'll do some salvaging, and totally forget that Gauntlet is a thing. So now that it's actually fun, I'll be doing it a lot more. So you need how many armor seeds left still, though?
Who knows, dude? Too many.
Too many. Damn.
I think I've gotten 2 on my collection log. I don't know how many I need, between how many we have and how many I need.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 2 on the log, 6 regular weapon seeds, which is awesome.
It's more crystal shards, I guess.
It's crystal acorns, I think. So we have
Crystal
3
acorns.
armor seeds we have 3 armor seeds in the chest right now.
Okay. So 3 more eventually.
Yes, 3 more eventually. So that's literally what I have been up to. I have enjoyed Worms, Craig. I enjoyed the quest. The cipher was weird. The puzzle cipher was weird. I took one look at that and went, yeah, that's a wiki angle for me, dog. But the boss has been fun. I have been saving a bunch of furs on my Iron Man for when the time comes to do that quest. I think I have, probably looking somewhere at like 200-300 furs.
Nice.
Between all my cabots and larupias and antelopes and shit like that, all the furs I did from all my rumors.
That's great.
Cool.
I saw a Reddit post. This guy did the math, and if you wanted to go from 70 to 99 crafting, doing the golem crafting, it's like almost 5,000 dashing kebet furs. And this guy did a test with the fur sack or whatever it's called. And he was able to grab like 700 to 900 per hour. So banking just with the furs, banking 99 crafting might not be that bad compared to like sandstone and doing buckets of sand. Because you still have to mine the sunstone or whatever it's called to get the thing. The core. Yeah, that's the word. But other than that, like I think the longest part of it is getting the fur. And if you've got the fur sack, the fairy ring, you can go get dash and kebet furs fairly easily.
Hell yeah. And then now I think my quest now, because I obviously can't do CG while I'm here recording, is I'm going to be plank making again, because I went from a 300k cash stack to a 12 mil cash stack. So it happens when you don't bank for 100 plus KC. So I've now got hella crafting XP banked, hella money. So I'm going to finish out the 2,500-ish mahogany logs and 500-ish teak logs I have. Then we'll have some Kamstromshkin banked. And then, yeah, we're just chilling from there, you know?
Yeah. You'll have a Bofa soon.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Again, everyone who keeps asking me, The answer is no. I am not an Iron Man. Don't do that. I'm a bad main account PVMer. That's been the issue. Is that I'm not good at the new PVM on the main, and it's been pissing me off. So no, not an Iron Man. Stop asking. But yeah, what are we talking about this week, Michael? I'm gonna figure out how the hell I get to Lunar Isle so that I can change my spellbook. And while I do that, you tell us what we're talking about. How about that?
So today we are talking about the Fractured Archive rewards poll blog. Currently, these are being polled in the game. So if you haven't gone to a poll booth yet, make your way to a poll booth potentially after this episode and vote on what you would like to see from Fractured Archive. So how did you want to do this? Do you just want to go down the line here? Because there are 5 rewards. I would say 2 of them maybe have some good talking points that we could do, that we can discuss, some good discussion topics. Maybe we start with the untradeable, the elemental fragments.
We haven't discussed any of these rewards.
That's true.
So it might be useful to just kind of breeze through and talk about all of them, because the Raids 4 blog came out not too long after the Summer Sweep Up blog came out. And there was a period of time after that where we just kind of didn't touch PVM takes. Once again, my threat of declaws in the Wildy or even at the Grand Exchange still stands. You can make fun of my PVM takes because it's going to be one of 2 things. I'm either A, better PVMer than you and it doesn't matter, or B, the achievements you have over me are impressive, yes, but we all know the skill gap is going to be marginal there unless you're like noob type or something like that. I don't want to hear shit about Michael's takes about PVM. You make fun of my takes all you want. I don't want to hear shit from the other end. The declaws are primed and ready, bitch. Anyways, so we haven't talked about Raids rewards, but we're talking about them now.
July 7th was the original blog came out. I had to go back and look.
Yes, they made some changes to the rewards. Changes that I think are pretty good. I really like the tome. I like the tome a lot. I'm glad they ditched the armor, but we'll talk about it. We'll get into it. So I guess where do we want to start, Michael? This is going to be an old-fashioned, just let's bust open the blog and see where it takes us.
So elemental fragments. I'm not super convinced that I love the idea of elemental fragments because it just seems like a nothing burger. You get your max hit is increased by 2 for all elemental spell damage. So you just have to keep another in, like it's a +1 inventory slot for a +2 max hit on a consumable resource.
I don't think it's consumable.
Consume a tear that Gothic shed in remembrance of the element so that you can use that element to better exploit enemies' weaknesses and dish out more damage.
The way it reads to me is like you read it like a prayer scroll, and it's like a permanent account buff. Unless I'm wildly misunderstanding this update, I'm reading it like it's a permanent account buff.
So I'm going to go back to the original blog and just see if they give any more information on elemental fragments. It was the first blog of July, actually. Okay, literally, it's
it's the same.
It's the same thing as in the next blog. So this is okay. Pause
the
for
line
real
that
quick.
makes.
I have 2 gripes now with these poll blogs. We're not getting much information on elemental fragments, number 1, and we're not getting much information on the Ascension crossbows either. Yes, we have the stats, and we know that they fire bolts, but is that it? And we could talk more about this when we get to it, but
we'll get to it.
Okay, elemental fragments. The
way it reads to me
that they're consumable fragments that get used up to give you a max hit.
I think you're correct, but I think you're incorrect in that you're going to have to reuse them. So to me, it reads similar to the jewels for your Karis Partisan, which you only need 1 of per Karis. We expect these to be pretty common with some pity RNG mechanics at play to make sure you can check them off your to-do list in a reasonable time frame. That to me does not read like you're going to need to grind this raid constantly to make sure your elemental spells are good. This to me reads like a preserve scroll, like a thread. This is the thing that you do to upgrade your account once, and then you realistically shouldn't ever need it again, and you'll probably be able to turn it in. If they're smart, they'll be able to take dupe elemental fragments and turn them in for the essence that creates the bolts for the fractured bolts. That would be the smart thing to do. So I read these as permanent account upgrades. This is your thread, but for elemental spells. So you get it one time, hot dog, your fire wave with your twin flame staff has a +2 max hit. That's awesome. And you just keep on stepping. I believe there's one for each element. So it's a fun little like, ooh, yippee, collection log. Like that. That to me is how that reads.
Yeah. It's just very confusing because they're calling it a consumable, an untradeable consumable, but then also likening it to the Karis Partisan, which is not.
They're calling it an untradeable. They're calling it an untradeable upgrade, and consume a tier that Gothic Shed is not saying it's a consumable. You consume a Dexterous Prayer Scroll. Yeah. What's another thing that you consume? I guess that you consume a teleport anchoring scroll, right? Like it's a consumable object, but it is a permanent account buff. Does that make sense? It's not like a blood essence where you need to keep it in your inventory forever.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I could go either way on this one. If it's just a little item that sits in your inventory or an account consumable where you get it once and then forever, it's +2. That's kind of interesting. I don't know. This one's tough for me. I would vote yes or no.
I'm going to vote yes for it. I mean, every raid needs something for little baby raiders to do for our bingo tiles. But B, if they're pushing something to buff elemental damage, it tells me that there could be a pretty good chance that there's elemental weakness kind of pushed in the raid. Like to me, there could be a pretty good chance that elemental weaknesses are highlighted with at least one of the bosses being weak to elemental spells, where being on the standard or ancient spellbook is going to either be required or strongly recommended to kind of like utilize that elemental weakness. That is at least have it be like part of the raid in some way. To me, that's why it reads this. It's an untradeable upgrade that you consume that is relatively insignificant, but offers a nice little passive buff. So
I'm just worried.
I'd vote yes for it. Seems fine to me.
I'm just worried it's an actual consumable. I don't want to vote on this based on assumption. That's the only problem. And if they're not giving us a concrete, this is exactly what it is, then to me it seems like an assumption.
If this is a consumable item like a shark or like a blood essence or like a purple sweet, I will abandon everything I'm doing and get 99 agility on my Iron Man.
Interesting.
If this is not a permanent one-time upgrade, because I'm like 99% convinced it is, I'll just go get 99 agility, because that's going to be about as stupid as making this a consumable item that you have to keep in your inventory, because +2 max hit with elemental spells is almost never worth it if you have to lose an inventory spot. Unless you're not utilizing inventory, like if you want to go for like a Barrows speed run and you don't need to take food because you're bringing a nightmare staff, like a harmonized nightmare staff using Wind Surge, and you want the +2 max hit for slightly faster kills, I don't think this matters. Yeah, this is not an item worth bringing into the game if it is a stackable consumable that you need to keep in your inventory that has a certain amount of charges. I'm 99.9% convinced this is a permanent upgrade, a single-use permanent upgrade.
Let me read this, and maybe you can change your mind, because this is something that I didn't see before. So this is under the untradeable fragments on the original poll. No, this is on the actual poll blog. I don't know how I missed this. So it says, while these aren't the most game-changing account unlocks you'll ever obtain, you'll absolutely want to get your hands on those elemental motes, since consuming one of each of the elements will increase a max hit for all the element spells by 2. Consuming
that means
it still could be like you get a fire mote, I guess, and now you're just +2 always. See,
yeah,
it could go
because there's
way
one for
still.
air, one. I really don't think it can. I think it's one for air, one for earth, one for water, one for fire.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And I think it's a permanent use.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
But again, if it's not, if you're correct, 99 agility, stopping what I'm doing, 99 agility. So
I guess I'll vote. I mean, that's okay. It seems
to me
to
that's
be more
an easy
concrete.
yes.
That's a
It's
yes.
an easy,
Okay.
benign yes for me.
Moving on. The Rodash?
Rondak.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. What do you know about the Rondak?
To me, it seems pretty neat. The Rondak is an offhand shield. They've made a lot of changes to it because I think it kind of sat in a really weird spot with its initial proposal of kind of where it sat relative to the Avernic Defender. But they have made some changes. So it's an Icene artifact, which is cool, which tells me that this is going to be kind of like multi-god themed. You know, the archives seem like a place where they hold very, very powerful items of potentially religious significance to other gods. So thematically, it seems very cool. People really hate the way it looks. I don't. I kind of think it looks cool. I like the Saradomin theme. I've always been partial to white armor, though. When I was a little kid, I first started playing Halo 2, and my Spartan was white with red accents. So at 7 years old, that was just kind of like the armor color palette that I really like. So that's why I love things like my Holy Scythe and my Radiant Oathplate. I don't have Radiant Oathplate, but you know what I mean. Like when the day comes, Radiant Oathplate, Holy Scythe. Like I actually really like that combo because I like the way like base white armor looks.
We have a lot of red in this game, so anything that's not red is just a welcome addition.
Yeah, I think this is very cool. I think the notable thing is the +2 flat armor. And magic resist. All incoming damage, with the exception of typeless damage, is reduced by 2, perfect for mitigating chip damage. Big fan of this because I don't believe that we have any flat armor items in the game. So I think this is a really cool addition for the Rondak. Mitigated damage is stored as charges, and the charges can be expended for the built-in special attack, the Shield Bash. You'll be able to use this alongside a main hand weapon with a special attack. We'll make sure this doesn't feel clunky to utilize, and then try to retrofit our solution onto the likes of the Dragonfire Shield once we've got it nailed down. So that's good. That's cool. Like that. Shield Bash can be fired off instantly like a Gmaul spec. This seems like a pretty cool like additional DPS thing. It rolls using crush accuracy gained from charges, as well as jewelry and armor. Rolls against the opponent's crush defense. Again, this is a very crush focused raid.
Yeah, I'm getting vibes of a crush heavy raid.
It's a very crush heavy raid. That's kind of the vibe, because you got to remember, crush has been severely neglected. Up until like this year. The Shield Bash deals X plus X% damage, where X is the number of charges consumed. So 20 charges will deal 20 plus 20%, totaling 24. This formula is there to encourage you to stack up maximum charges to save your Shield Bash to finish off a target. So it's nice. It's like a kill shot spec. How many times do you fight bosses and you get them within like one shot range, and then it's just 0, 0, 0, 0? It's like they enter their goddamn enrage phase when they have 20 HP left and refuse to die. I had a Hunlif earlier, Michael, dropped to 5 hit points, and it took 5 shots to miss and then switch to my bow and then kill it.
Oh my gosh.
You know how irritated I am when Hunlif has 5 HP? I got tornadoes chasing me around the room, and Hunlif just will not get hit. And it wasn't like I was even at risk of dying. Like, I had high HP. I had an inventory full of fish. I was just like, dude, you gotta be fucked. Just die. So I think the Rondak special is going to be pretty cool with that. And the Rondak has serviceable defensive stats with strength equivalent to the Avernic Defender, which is one thing I was a little concerned about at first, that they're kind of matching the Avernic, but it has no offensive bonuses. So the Avernic should always pull ahead where you're not interested in mitigating chip damage. So if you're looking for a DPS, like what's the fastest time to kill, Avernic is almost always going to be the number one from as it reads right here. And then they say they'll be keeping an eye on the Avernic and whether or not the Rondak has significant adverse effects on the viability of Theater of Blood as a moneymaker. There are avenues for us to explore for combining the Rondak and the Avernic in some way to help both raids remain healthy long term, but we don't want to over-design a solution here where the two already have separate strengths and use cases which we're able to design around. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know, I can see, like, let's say you don't have an Avernic, right? Because the Avernic is, if you're a main account, the Avernic is a very expensive one-time upgrade that offers, yes, it offers, it's the best offhand in the game, but it's minor compared to what else you could spend 30 mil on. Michael and I have been very adamant about this over the years. If you have 30 mil to spend, an Avernic should not be first on your shopping list.
Yeah.
An Avernic should hardly ever be. If you're talking about like permanent DPS upgrades for 30 mil, buy a Dex and an Arcane before you buy an Avernic. Buy your Zenites before you buy an Avernic. Stash some money away, and I don't know, invest in like a special attack weapon, like a Void Waker. You know, like buy something that isn't an Avernic. While the Avernic is good, it shouldn't be your top spending tier. So I can see the Rondak being used alongside the Lance at like Vorkath, for example. Because you take a shit ton of chip damage at Vorkath. Like it is, if it's not chip damage, it's just like straight up off prayer hits. Because you're praying mage in the melee setup, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I think this is cool. It's got very minimal negative offensive stats too, which is nice because you can use this with magic and then with range, I guess, too. I don't know. Let me look at the Dragon Defender. It's substantially worse offensively than the Dragon Defender is. With the Dragon Defender having a -3 and -2 compared to this thing's -5 and -8. And I say that because I'm on my Iron Man. I'm not on my main to look at how that compares to the Avernic. But point is, right? I think the Rondak is neat. I think it's a neat addition to the game that will have some use cases. And again, the beauty of an item like this, if you're thinking to yourself, where is this going to be used? I can't think of anything. Number one, broaden your mind. Who knows? Could be fun some places. Number two, they can always design content around it.
Yeah, I mean, this is like anything we're talking about now can potentially be useful in the future for different content. There are so many examples of gear coming out and then it not being cool until later when something came out where it was useful. And so we just have to, not that we have to just like wait and vote yes because of potential, but as far as if you're really concerned with how this is going to be used in the game, it's you have to consider the future content as well as like what is available now.
Yeah, and it may also have some really weird niche uses too. Like I've seen 2 Instagram reels in the last couple of days about Hollowfell. Hollowfell didn't seem super impressive to me. Again, one of those benign additions that like I don't care about and I'm definitely not going to use on my main for any reason. Except now I might, because the first reel, I think Eevescape took it down to Monkey Madness 2 caves and was cracking off like 200k strength XP an hour, which is nuts. And then some other reel I saw said that you could take it put it on like crush mode or something like that, like crush attack style, and one hit both Husks and Fazani's Nightmare on the same tick.
With the Hollowfell?
PNM.
Nice.
With Hollowfell, that you can do it in one tick now, which is super cool. So like that's an example of a boss or an item that came into the game that I'm like, whatever, who cares? But now actually has like a pretty solid, like that could form its place in the PNM fight, and then will maintain some value both in terms of usefulness and monetary value going forward, which is cool. So I think the Rondak is neat. When I first saw it, I thought it was neat. Thought it was a bit of an odd design choice being so close to the Avernic. But I think they've made a few tweaks from the first blog. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the Rondak. I think it looks cool. I think it feels like a cool weapon. What were your thoughts, Michael?
I like the chip damage, the flat armor, basically. I like the flat armor a lot. I'm kind of sad that it doesn't work against typeless, because typeless damage is still damage. And flat armor, if you think about it, flat just means everything. So not including like typeless damage seems weird. So that's my only critique with it. Otherwise, the stats look great. I think 55 range defense is cool over the Vernic's -4. So, in places where you're actually wanting a shield, it fills that niche, as well as being similar enough to the Defender that it can still stand on its own in a lot of places.
Yeah, like the more I think about this, the more I think like, yeah, you're losing a little bit of DPS somewhere like Vorkath taking this over the Avernic Defender. But man, 55 range defense when you're going to be praying mage anyways, and all of those extra stab, slash, and crush defenses, on top of your melee armor and piety, that's going to be pretty nice to mitigate. And the chip damage, that's going to be pretty nice to mitigate some of that. Sorry, someone commented on my name at the Sears Village Bank and threw me off. Shout out to you, Badlands9, for thinking Oxie fans is a cool name. But no, I think the Rondak is going to be nice at places like Vorkath, where your trips get cut short just naturally, because even if you do everything right, you're going to take damage. So the more I look at the Rondak, the more I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be a cool item.
Yeah. Next up is Zoria's Tome. This one is probably my favorite, just thematically, because never have we seen in this video game the ability to cast a spell directly from a magic book, spell book rather. So in terms of like style points, rule of cool, this is my favorite. And I'm a little disappointed it's only really useful as a DPS weapon, but I guess we don't have a lot of magic DPS items, DPS spec weapons. So where this shines is really going to be you use the item spec, which fires off a magical attack that hits with 150% increased accuracy and 60% increased damage. So you're already hitting a lot with this and pretty high, but if the attack hits, then your next 3 attacks also have 150% increased accuracy and 60% increased damage with a reduced attack delay. So your base max hit is going to be an 18 on that spec. And if you fire this off and then you switch to another magic weapon, for your next 3 attacks with that weapon, you'll have the increased accuracy and the increased damage. So this is more so like you're setting yourself up. Are you shaking your head no?
So while buffed, your next 3 attacks with the tome also gain 150 accuracy and 60% spec. Right below that. Because I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, dude, this thing, I was concerned for a second. I'm like, I thought this was really cool, and then read more about the spec in detail and was like, actually, this thing is going to be horrendous with the shadow, but I think they're balancing it by...
Oh, it is.
I think they're balancing it by not allowing you to switch weapons and take the buff. Because like this item you use for the buff as a DPS, if you can switch to a shadow or an eye. But because you can't, this is nice because it's almost like a 4-hit it's almost like a 4-hit special attack. Where like if you hit, then you cast another spell, and then another spell, and then another spell, and then another spell, and then you put your shadow back on.
And it's every 2 ticks for those 3 attacks. So I feel kind of dumb not realizing that, but that makes way more sense. So while buffed, your next 3 attacks with the tome also gain the accuracy and the damage and attack at a faster rate, firing off every 2 ticks. So yeah, just like you said, you fire off the spell and it only takes 50% spec, which is kind of nuts. Like to me, this is like a 60% or a 75% thing, but they're giving us 2. So you fire it off, you do your 4 attacks, and then potentially you do another special attack if you want to use both, and then you do 4 more attacks. This actually is very, very cool.
I like it. I think it falls in line really well with the other special attack weapons that we have for the other styles. You've got something like Claws and Voidwaker, which are 50% that dish out a ton of spec, or that dish out a ton of damage. While ZCB has, I believe, a 75% spec. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think ZCB is 75%. It's kind of counteracted by something like Dragon Knives that have like a 20% special attack energy cost or something like that, where you could just like two knives and throwing axes really quick. So there's special attack options for both that offer really good magic DPS, and then I think this is real neat.
This is cool.
This is really cool. This really falls in line well from what I'm looking at here with the other special attack styles, where I kind of want to see someone use this in like PvP.
Oh yeah.
Like I know this is a raid reward, and I'm like my brain is PVM, but I'm thinking back to like Deadman mode, how they opened up with their Voidwakers or their special attacks, the Fang specs pretty frequently. I would kind of love to see someone just be like, learn to read, and they whip out this big ass book to start a fight and just start like dumping magic attacks at
this
people.
is cool.
I think this would be fun to look at in PvP.
I'm very, very excited to see this thing's attack animation, because the way that they describe it is like, once you start the attack, you look down at the book and the pages start to flip, and then it finds a page, and then the spell comes out of the page and you kind of look at it go. So it's like you're just standing there with a book in your hands. And I'm imagining myself running head at Ulm. And it's like, run to the left, look at the book, spell comes out, run to the right, look at the book, spell comes out. So like back and forth, just running around and looking down at the book. That's going to be so silly and so cool. And it's a Gothic themed item, which I love.
It's very cool. They do bring up a good point in the blog as well, that this does not debuff your enemy, it buffs you. So not that you would want to use this special attack at Nilo, because you want to save your specs for Nilo boss, right? But we'll use Nilo room as an example because there are a lot of targets. Let's say you dump a spec onto a blue Nilo. You could then dump specs onto 3 other Nilos and have that same 150% accuracy and 60% damage, because your character is getting buffed from the special attack.
Yes.
So it's a really nice like multi-target special attack. It could be a multi-target special attack, or you could just absolutely dumpster an enemy with it. Maybe if you have this as an Iron Man, but you don't have Claws or Void Waker, you take this and you utilize the spec at Nilo boss. I don't know, because if you attack, if it's once every 3 ticks, but then every special attack afterwards is 2. It might be enough to get all 4 attacks off on a single mage rotation if you pre-switch. Again, I don't think that this is going to be better than Iac at Theater of Blood, so I don't think you'd want to take something that isn't Iac if you have it. But just as like a potential mage spec, if there's like a weird niche where like you don't have Burning Claws or Dragon Claws or BGS or Void Waker for the mage phase, you know, in my brain, this could have some use cases there, because everything goes back to Tob for me. But I'm also thinking like, what could this look like inside the raid? You know, like Jagex knows that people like a little wave-based combat room if it's done correctly. So is it possible that we have a wave-based quote unquote mini game or wave-based boss room
guaranteed
in this raid? I don't know if it's guaranteed, but it could be something interesting where this really shines in the raid itself. You know,
I would be very surprised if there wasn't a Nilo-esque or a Monkey Room-esque room, not a puzzle, but something where you're doing waves.
Yeah, they said it's a boss rush, so it's entirely possible it's something like that. Which this raid's going to be good. I'm optimistic we're going to get to try it or see it at RuneFest. And I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what happens there.
We need to get some more bludgeons on the irons if we want to do this as a group, since it's probably going to be a crush raid.
I'm a keep it a stack with you. You already know I'm not doing this shit on my Iron Man when it comes out.
I don't know
you
why
already
we're
know
friends,
I'm not doing it on my Iron Man when it comes out. Well, you know it's not going to happen. You know I'm not.
I mean, I know it's
not
not going to happen, but like at some point we're all going to want to do it. Your brain just goes to day of release.
Of course, we're all going to want to do it at some point. I'm not saying I'm never going to do the raid on my Iron Man. I'm saying when I take actual days off work for this, I'm not doing it on my fucking Iron Man. I'm doing it on my main. I'm taking my mega rares and I'm doing it on my main. You know, you guys, we can do it on the Iron Man together. If you and Fear and Ralph all want to take your irons and do all that, I would imagine Fear might want to take his main because it's a little bit beefier than his Iron Man in terms of gear. You know,
not very much. I mean,
Fear, man's got Blood Torva. Man's got Blood Torva,
but like he's got
Blood Torva, Scythe, Maul,
Shadow, T-Bow. It's pretty kitted out, and it's still a few more months away. That's not.
And what
the
are
point.
you and Ralph going to use? I'm just saying.
We gotta move on.
Well, I'm just saying.
You are just saying.
Tome is good.
Tome is amazing. I like
Tome
it
is
a lot.
really good.
I'm voting yes on that, 100%. And the name is cool too. Zoria's. I like that a lot.
Zoria, yeah, that's gonna be interested to hear the lore behind that one.
Who is Zoria and where's their tome?
Next on the list is Zeal, which I want to say Zeal's an RS3, maybe? Like Zeal's an RS3 thing? I think we have a couple RS3 things in this raid, but I'm not sure. So I'm torn on Zeal.
Are you really?
Not because I dislike it. No, I'll get into what it is first, right? Zeal is a piety override. It's a prayer upgrade. It's the next tier of piety. It takes 84 prayer, 75 attack, and 75 strength to be able to unlock Zeal, right? And what does this mean, Michael? This means because it's a piety override, one defense peers can't have it.
Sorry. Well, they couldn't have piety either, so like they're not really missing out.
It's mainly with the chivalry joke that keeps happening.
They're gonna put chivalry in this raid.
But yeah, it's just objectively better than piety, which is good. You'll need piety to unlock the prayer. Sports the same drain rate as piety, and it amounts to some bonus accuracy and additional 6 strength levels for players at 99 strength with a super combat potion, which is at least 1, if not 2 max hits.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're wearing and what you're doing. One of the simpler rewards than the other offerings, but a very valuable pickup. We're going beyond the existing prayer tiers. We're looking at a more grandiose unlock than reading a piece of paper at a bank. Perhaps you'll find a key to a room deep in the recesses of the archive. Perhaps a scroll that requires a pilgrimage, just so long as whatever we land on really feels like you're gaining an important power increase and deepening your connection with the gods. So that it's going to have some thematic little ties rather than just being like the decks that you read and call it good. My question is Zeal tradable?
Yeah. They did untradables in the first part, and they said now that we have untradables out of the way, it's going to, like, everything else here is tradable. Now,
interesting.
With the
what
last
they make
bit,
tradable then?
Yeah, with the last bit, like, are you buying a key, or are you buying? Yeah, like, what are you doing to unlock it if it's tradable?
Are you buying the map to Zeal or something like that? Like, it seems like an interesting. It's going to be an interesting little bit there. But I think it's good. Like, does what it says on the tin. I think we just talked about in the last episode upgraded prayers.
We really did. Yep, we did.
So I think this is good. I think we need. It's tough because it could be in prayers weird. I'm not going to get into it today because I don't think we have time to talk about the weirdness of the prayer scroll problem and prayer effectively ending at level 78 and not mattering after that, other than just like more prayer points. It's one of the weird skills. It just doesn't always feel fully fleshed out, and that's because of its offensive power boosts. It's a different conversation for a different day. Overall, I think Zeal is a fine upgrade. You figure piety has been best in slot for years, and it's a fucking quest reward.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, It takes 70 prayer, but that's less than 1 million prayer XP. And it's a quest reward. Like,
it's time,
especially with Rigor and Augury being raid unique items.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Like, it's weird that piety is kind of falling in line with Mystic Vigor and Deadeye.
Not really. Magic defense, strength, and attack are all much lower than piety. So piety's at 25% attack, 25% defense, 23% strength, and 20% attack. So this is going to boost your attack and strength by 5%. Defense is
I'm just saying. I'm just saying in terms of how we are obtaining it.
Oh, how
now,
we're obtaining it, yeah. Zeal,
Rigor, and Augury are the raid rewards, whereas piety is easier to get than all the other ones. So yes. I think it's needed something. It's cool. Our first tier 80 something prayer.
Yeah.
Neat. I think Zeal is good. Interested to see how thematically they do it, but good.
How much are we thinking this is going to settle into GP wise? Hundreds of GP at the beginning. Hundreds of million, I should think.
I was just saying, I would think over hundreds.
Hundreds of millions. I'm thinking in millions.
I mean, you're like a day of release. Yeah, this shit's going to be ridiculous. When TOA came out, Shadow was like the first Shadow sold for like $6 billion or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it was absurd. I remember I got Missouri legs in like a duo or a trio or something like that. We sold them for 650 mil. I bought my first Fang for 220 mil.
Wow.
So, like, day of release, yeah, this shit's gonna be really expensive. But when I talk about concerns, right? Concerns of the value of the rewards, it's because we've seen this movie before. We've seen the single use permanent prayer unlock from a raid before, and we've seen how the prices can just absolutely tank.
Right.
Sometimes they go back up. I think they've done a better job with like GE tax and item deletion, things like that. They've done a better job of mitigating it. But like back in the day when arcanes were 2 mil and you'd go to the dually and triple chuck them, and then just to see if you could make more money because you were like that was the fun thing to do then, right? Like we've seen where this goes, and that's my concern is that we're going to have a really expensive raid unlock for a while, and then the raid is just slowly going to lose money consistently over time. I know once the rewards come into the game, they're not all going to be mega expensive. That's fine. That's how raid uniques level out. That's totally fine. I'm just interested / concerned what they're going to do with yet another permanent one-time prayer thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. I am concerned that we haven't figured out the chambers prayers first, and then they're going to throw another prayer with basically the same mechanics into the mix. So hopefully they have the chambers prayers figured out before we go into drop rates and stuff for Fred. Because it could end up being like in a few years from now, they're having to look at the piety, the zeal rather. They're going to have to look at zeal, and we're going to be like, okay, we're in the same place potentially that we were with chambers prayers, where they're undervalued and they're just way too common. I'm hopeful that they have that conversation beforehand and they figure out a solution.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's tough because I think this is going to sit closer with the Dex and Augury problem than it is the Fang problem. Because like part of the problem with the Fang isn't that the Fang was too powerful; it's that it was too common and that it was too cheap. This is not as common, or not as common. We don't know that it's not as powerful of an upgrade as Fang is. It's really good. It's just an objectively great upgrade, and is going to help a lot with like PVM, melee fights, account progression. This is going to be a necessary upgrade that we will discuss in the future of like when this does reach a level price of like, hey, you have 50 mil, consider buying Zeal, right?
Yeah.
I think while I worry that we're going to run into the problem that it's going to tank pretty low, I do think Jagex has done some things with the prayer schools. I think the problem with the prayer schools that we talked about in the last episode isn't the power scaling of rigor and augury. It's that you see them too frequently.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it's also like a similar problem with the Fang is that you just see them too much, and that's why they're as cheap as they are, because nobody needs them. Right. If you're doing chambers, you have 1,000 CMKC. You probably already have rigor and augury. You've probably had it for a while.
You probably have
even
like
if you're an
30
Iron
of
Man.
each.
Exactly. At that point, like you probably have a lot. So I think that's just more of the concern is like, are they going to counterbalance it by making the Zeal upgrade more rare? Like if the way I'm kind of reading this, like, is this in like descending order of most common to least common with the mega rare at the end?
I would not be upset with that, actually. If this was a subtle hint to their rarity, making the prayer just altogether more rare and not one of like the common shitter drops, I think that would go a long way in making it more meaningful and hold its value.
Yeah, that probably is the best solution, where don't make it like Scythe or Tebow level rare. Put it more like Missouri level rare.
Yep.
Or, D-Claws level rare, where if you do the raid enough, you're gonna see one.
Yeah.
But it's not like a several 100-hour chase. You don't have to go through 60 purples to get your Zeal upgrade. Right? Like that shouldn't be what it is.
Right.
But I absolutely don't think it should be a like, oh, the chest is purple. How much you want to bet it's a ring? Look at that. It's our 5th arcane of the bingo. Yippee. I don't think it's going to be that common. I think in that way, Jagex has learned from their mistakes, but we got old RuneScape brain. Old RuneScape brain makes us nervous for some things, but that's Zeal.
That's Zeal. Next up is the Ascension crossbows, which thematically, I I don't know what god these could be tied to. They look like Shattered Relics rewards, if I'm being honest. And so I'm actually kind of interested to see the lore behind these and why they look the way they do. But the looks are not what we're talking about. We're going to be talking about the actual crossbows. So these are a 2-tick heavy crossbow upgrade. So similar to the bowpipe in its attack rate. So 2 ticks on rapid, but it'll be a heavy crossbow that fires 2 bolts. The thing that I'm most confused about is the special effect. So it says 50% reduced chance to trigger enchanted bolt effects. When you word it like that, does that mean it's 50% like less common or 50% more common? I can't suss out 50% reduced chance to trigger an enchanted bolt effects. I would assume if we're thinking like this isn't actually a good thing, then you get a 50% increase in the chance to shoot an enchanted bolt and have it proc an effect. Or is it 50% less of a chance? So now it's less common.
So this isn't a special attack. This is a special effect. This is essentially a weapon effect that we're working with here, right? Most crossbows in the game, I think all crossbows on rapid are 5-tick, right? So it's things, particularly the Ruby Dragon bolts, right? Ruby Dragon bolts and other various bolt effects are balanced by the fact that you only fire them every 5 ticks. You've seen what happens in leagues when you fire them 2 ticks. We were all there for leagues 4 and 5 where you had the 2-tick crossbow and it was like we've seen that happen. They're saying it's a 50% reduced chance because you're firing over twice as fast.
Right. Okay.
Right. So you're, instead of 1 attack every 5 ticks, it's 1 attack every 2 ticks. So it's over twice as fast that you're firing, and they don't want it to be out of every bolt. Now, granted, they're not sending Ruby Ascension bolts into the game right now, which I think is fine, but they're compensating by making like it's going to be a strong goddamn crossbow. It'll be a strong crossbow.
Yeah. So speaking of the bolts, these can only fire fractured bolts or gem tip fractured bolts. And so you get the fractured bolts from chiseling something from the raid, like a fractured something. And once you make the bolts, you can add the gems. And right now, they said, so for the time being, we're opting to only release a handful of bolt types so that we can take a future-proof approach for an eventual bolt effect crossbow rework. So you'll have to choose between regular bolts, the armor-piercing diamond, or the high roller life leech bolts with the onyx. So you have 2 options, which still, like, I would assume most people are just going to use diamond-tipped fractured bolts for this, which is fine. And in the future, when we get a rework, potentially we'll have like rubies or any of the other ones. Because I can imagine having access to all of the bolt effects will make this really, really, really strong. Like I'm just imagining if you're wanting to use them, you can use the sapphire tips at Muspa. That would be really cool because it's just going to fire a lot faster, allowing you to get that prayer phase down quicker, the smite phase. So overall, I think if I'm looking at this, like the crossbows are cool, but the real reward here is the bolts. Because the crossbow is like, it's a standard crossbow. It just fires quicker. But where the real power is going to come is the bolts and what we can do with them in the future. Because there's no special attack on this. And so you're really just relying on the bolt effects to get you through, plus the fast attack rate when it comes to the ammo that you're firing. But this one seems really, really cool. A dual wield crossbow, like thematically, that's badass. I cannot wait to get my hands on these and play around with them. Because anything that fires quickly is cool, but this is the first heavy crossbow, heavy weapon type that can shoot so rapidly. So things like a Raxor, when you're wanting to kill the spiders that come out, it's going to be perfect for that.
Yeah, this thing is for reference, the blowpipe has an attack or range attack of 20. This thing has a range attack of 34. So it's inherently going to be more accurate than the blowpipe. While the bolt strength is cut roughly in half for what we're looking at here. The bolt strength is roughly cut in half,
which makes sense
for everything
because you're firing two essentially.
It does. You're firing two, so that makes sense. Ah, man, I'm really thinking this thing's gonna be like a fucking death machine. Like I'm picturing a boss like Leviathan's probably not a good option. OSRS Leviathan, because of its high health pool, you're probably gonna want to stick with. You're probably gonna want to stick with the ZCB for a boss like Leviathan. But a boss like Leviathan has a plus 50 light and medium range defense and a plus 25 heavy defense. I'm picturing opening up a fight like Leviathan with a ZCB spec and then just two throughout the fight with both crossbows. Interested to see what the change in DPS looks like when you don't have access to a buckler.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, Michael and I are not running the DPS calcs right now. I would look to someone like No Monkey or Molgoat Kirby to look into the DPS calcs in the future because we don't have them open. And I'm going to be so for real with you. We're not going to pull them open right now to prove a point. Based strictly off the numbers that I'm seeing and the vibes that I'm getting from this thing, this is going to be a machine.
I have a question.
This is going to be, what's up?
Do you think that this is going to be, because you did the attack or you did the attacks as fire, 2 ticks, fire, 2 ticks. I'm thinking this is like fire, 2 ticks, fire, 2 ticks, fire. So it's like a double hit, but you're doing it every 2 ticks. So that's why the bolts are cut in half. Essentially, it's like you're taking 2 hits where one would have been much stronger. Because cutting the bolt effect by half seems very punishing when you're going 1 shot, 2 tick, other shot, 2 tick. Maybe actually that makes sense because if the crossbow
6
fires,
one way,
go ahead.
6 one way, half a dozen another, big dog. Whether it's two, or two. Either way, it's a 2 tick attack. Right.
But what
it doesn't make sense to fire them both on rapid because there's only gonna be a 1 tick break like a blowpipe. So I think like that if it's 2 hit splats every 2 ticks, that seems fucking ridiculous.
Right. That's my thought. Because if the strength of the bolt is cut in half, then you're essentially you're spreading out the bolt strength between 2 hits. So it still has the full strength, but the bolt itself just fires half strength twice. Am I getting too into the weeds on that? Because like these are the things that I want to know, and they give us no information on the bow. The bow itself and the stats, yes, but none of the mechanics of how these things function. Like, they say it's a rapid fire heavy crossbow, but like,
yes,
that's the only thing is, do we get 2 hits?
They say it's a rapid fire heavy crossbow, but they don't at any point in the blog indicate that it's giving 2 hit splats.
Right. That's the only thing I'm frustrated about.
Because it doesn't indicate 2 hit splats, it tells me it doesn't. This isn't a macchiato angle, right? I look at this, it's the same speed as the blowpipe, which means you're probably, just like the blowpipe, going to get 1 hit splat every 2 ticks. If you're not watching this version on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify and you're sick of me going doom like a crossbow and counting ticks in between, so sorry, y'all. I know this is probably not the best earhole content for you. My brain thinks like crossbows in both hands. Fire the right, wait a tick. Fire the left, wait a tick. Fire the right, wait a tick. Fire the left, wait a tick.
Oh.
That, in my brain, that makes sense because on rapid, if you fire them both at the same time, that's mega rare level. That's leagues level. You're talking 2 hit splats, potentially 2 bolt procs, 2 diamond bolt procs at the exact same time with a tick delay in between. Double crossbow, wait a tick. Double crossbow, wait a tick.
Isn't it wait 2 ticks?
No, it's a 2 tick attack. So it's fire, off, fire, off, fire, off, fire.
Oh,
off,
it's like not fire, 2 ticks, fire, 2 ticks, fire.
No, that's a 3 tick speed on its regular range.
I don't know
or
ticks at that point, I guess.
I wasn't going to be the one to tell you. I've told them many times, but still, right? Like it is. That's why I don't think it's going to be 2 because you're firing bomb, 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 just like the blowpipe. This is a heavy crossbow blowpipe.
It's probably gonna work the same. Yeah.
I have the word concerned in mind, but I don't want to make it seem like that's a bad thing. This is gonna be a fucking awesome weapon. This is gonna be a fucking awesome weapon. And taking a quick look at the RS3 wiki, the Ascension crossbows come from the Monastery of Ascension, which is home to the Order of Ascension, a former Gothixian group that has been kidnapping local villagers.
Interesting.
So, but in RS3, they're like a tier 95 or some shit like that crossbow. Like they're a pretty fucking bulky crossbow in RS3, or at least they were. I know they're like degradable, which is another cool thing. These things aren't degradable, but the counterpoint is to make the bolts, you have to use the Ascension shards. For all my Iron Men out there, they did include an option to mine the Ascension shards in the lobby, but I'm also kind of thinking this is going to be like Vials of Blood. Like, I would be shocked if they don't balance this like Vials of Blood, where, yeah, it might take you a few raids to get some Vials of Blood, but once you get the Vials of Blood, that's like several thousand scythe charges. Like, you get essential, like, let's say after, you get like 100 shards an hour mining them, but when you complete the raid, you could get a drop of like 250 or 300 Ascension shards. You use that to make 500 or 600 bolts, and then you're good for a while, right? I really don't think they're going to put this weapon in a situation where like you cannot use it. Like, you have to use it sparingly.
Yeah.
Right.
We're already getting unique ammo. It would be a kick while we're down to say like this ammo is rare.
Yeah. Well, and you look at all the other weapons that are charged throughout the game, right? Like, look at the blowpipe. Yeah. You kill Zulrah, you get what? Let's say on average you get 200 Zulrah kills per kill. That's still a lot of shots.
You're profiting every kill.
That's still a lot of shots. Let's say you, for some reason, haven't corrupted your BOFA. Every time you do a CG, which doesn't require you to use the BOFA, right? All the activities in Prif, combat or not, do not require you to use charges. And I think, what is it, like 10 shards is like 100 charges or some shit like that? Is that how the math works out?
Yes.
Or something like the BOFA?
One shard is 10 charges.
I sound ignorant, but I don't have one on my Iron Man, and I genuinely have not had one on the main since like when I ruptured my Achilles tendon like 3 years ago. Because right after I ruptured my Achilles tendon, I sold. No, it was right before. Oh my god, yeah, I did that Raids Bank bingo. And was like, hey guys, like, love you guys. I can't play the last day of the bingo. I have a fencing tournament. And the next day in the team chat was like, guys, I fucked everything up. I ruptured my leg. It don't work no more.
Oh, no.
So. But yeah, I haven't had a BOFA in literal years, so I don't remember how it's charged necessarily. But I would be shocked if they don't make the Ascension shards. You get one drop and you're good for like 25 raids plus. I really think the Ascension shards are not going to be an issue, even for irons.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
Which also tells me that the ammo is probably going to. I would bet, when the hype dies down and everything levels out, Ascension bolts sit around Dragon Arrow price, Dragon Bolt price, kind of like where other best in slot ammo is. Really excited for this weapon. Really excited for this weapon. I think I'm more excited for the crossbows than I am for the big one. The
best
mega
for
rare.
Last, I guess.
Best for last. The Breaker.
The mega rare. One mega rare. The mega rare, which is fine.
One mega rare this time, which is good. We've not called it the Tazar Ket Breaker because we've seen your thoughts on the existing visual identity and want to give you more of a choice. So Michael may have put the image on screen right now for the YouTube folks. If not, we have 3 different designs. The original Tazar Ket Breaker, which I think it was Rob on Boonbabe, described it as a hot turd. Love that. Can't unsee that.
Dude,
now.
Hold on. Before we move on, because we're going to talk about visuals a lot. I just want to say right off the bat, I don't think the Breaker looks bad at all. I think it looks extremely badass, and I cannot see, like, sure, if you look at it hard enough, you could conceptualize that it might look like a turd. But to me, this does not look like a piece of poop. Like, it looks sick. So that's just my thoughts. I'm not going to rag on the Breakers look, but they did give us 3 potential design options for it, which is cool. Because I think enough people are like, yeah, that looks ugly, that they might give us a different one.
It just seems like a strange choice for how the weapon is supposed to function. right? Like you're supposed to sling it forward with a magically extending chain as a crush weapon, not a piercing stab weapon. It just seems like aesthetically, it seems like an odd choice to present the Tazar Breaker. I still think it's an odd choice to have the weapon extend, period. I saw somebody put a suggestion, it was on Reddit or Twitter or somebody like that, have the chain slack behind us or drag behind us for a little bit. Make it look like a really long chain that you're just then shooting from your hand and kind of like nix this whole, oh, it just grows with magic vibe. Just give us a big ass weapon on a chain, you know? But I kind of understand where they're going with this. I'm not going to harp on the design too much. The Titanic Breaker looks cool. I'm all Obligator. I'm all option 3. I know people are upset that like everything has to be Gothics themed in the raid. This is bullshit. What are the other raids themed as? It's almost like the vampire raid has all vampire stuff. In case you're unaware, Vitur and Grazi are house names in Vampirium, and Sanguinesti, Sugandinti, they're like, it's like a play off the region name. And then the Justiciar is stolen from Saradomin, and then pretty much everything that comes from Chambers of Zarek is in some way Xershian themed. The Elder Maul, the Kodai Wand, the Twisted Bow all kind of correlate to Zarek's stuff. The Ancestral Robes you can kit them out to look like it. The DHCB, the Buckler, the Bulwark, they're all kind of themed that way. And then everything is themed after the desert too. So it makes sense you give like one god or something a little spotlight because it's from the archive. But I think a Gothics theme raid with Gothics theme rewards seems the coolest option to me.
Great reward.
I'm all Obligator. I think the Titanic Breaker looks really cool. I think of the 3, I would put Obligator at 1, Titanic at 2, and Tazarket at 3 myself. Big Obligator fan, but that's just me.
I'm also a big Obligator fan, with the caveat to say, if we're talking about a crush weapon, it doesn't make too much sense for it to be that spiky to seem like a flail. That gives flail vibes, where the other one, you just have a big rock and you're magically pushing it into people and it's crushing them. Versus the Obligator, if you're not watching the YouTube and you haven't seen like the visual, it's like a ball with a bunch of spikes on a chain, and it still has that like extendy chain vibe mechanic, but it's like a spiky ball. I love it. It looks so cool. And I would agree that having a Gothics themed mega rare in the Gothics themed raid seems like the play. So
yeah,
if I were to rank them, it would be Obligator first, Tazar Breaker, and then the Titanic. Because to me, the Titanic just looks boring.
What really throws me off about the Titanic and the Tazar, why? This is the problem with not giving us any information about the raids, is why is the Titanic Breaker, which is a mysterious weapon shrouded in shadows with a purpose long since lost to time, are you just doing it because it's black and purple and looks cool and matches with Torva? And then the Tazar why? I think that's what throws me off. Like, why would we make the mega rare break rank from the Twisted Bow, Scythe of Vitur, and Tumekin Shadow? All main themes of the raid. Why would we break that and put? I think that's what really threw me off about the breaker at first. Was like, I know nothing about the raid. What the fuck are the Tazar doing here?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I like Gaga. I like some of her songs. What the fuck does she know about cameras, right? Like, quoting Kanye West on Xpwaste is not what I expect to do, but it's what comes to mind, right? It's like, what are the Tazar even doing here? You know? That's why I'm a fan of the Obligator more, but
so they said it's worth noting that all of these can be tied into our narrative with ease, even if these connections might not be obvious to you right now. We'll say no more to avoid spoilers for the lore hounds among you. So it's a very relevant question as to like, why is there a Tazar item in the archive? And who is the Titanic Breaker associated with? The Obligator makes sense, right? Because they said most Guthians prefer to avoid conflict, but the archivist obligated to defend the archive means that they'll have to be, they have been known to wield particularly powerful weapons. So it's like, The other two are less plausible, because it says for the Tizar Ket Breaker, a weapon seemingly of Tizar origin, but was it used by the Tizar Ket or against them? Kind of cool, I guess. And then the Breaker, it says, a mysterious weapon shrouded in shadows. Its creator and purpose have been long since lost to time. To me, that says they thought of a cool weapon and a cool look, but don't have the lore. So they're like, it's a mystery.
The thing is, like, they probably do have the lore. And looking at the color scheme, oh boy, I wonder who the long gone creator of the purple item could be. I wonder who the purple themed god is that we would utilize something for. That's wonder who it could be. This is why, to me, I don't think it makes thematic sense, because I don't know it's going to be there.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I don't know really what to compare it to. If let's say you're offering me something from like Marvel superheroes, and it's a Spider-Man themed event. Why would I want the X-Men t-shirt for a Spider-Man themed? Why would I not want a Spider-Man t-shirt? It's a Spider-Man movie, right? But if I find out later that the X-Men are in the movie, oh my God, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Right? But not knowing that the X-Men are going to be in the movie ahead of time,
you're not going to wear an X-Men shirt.
Why? I'm not going to wear an X-Men shirt. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'm just not going to do it. So while I definitely think there's potential for like a Zaroshian captive or a former Tizar general or something to be in the raid in the archive to defend their things sworn under Gothics or whatever, because we don't know it, I think it's weird.
Yeah.
And I want the obligator.
So obligator it is.
You know?
Then.
Let's talk about less the aesthetics and more the actual function. You say the form is up for debate, but the function is what we're looking at here. This is a mega rare, brother. This is a big old strong bitchin' breaking weapon. Like we mentioned at the start of the blog, this has changed a little from our last iteration. Now it rolls damage twice by default, 3 times if the enemy is second weakest to crush, and 4 times if the enemy is weakest to crush. So what that means is if you have an enemy whose their stats are all equal, right? As a little rundown for the folks listening at home, you are going to roll damage twice if the enemy's melee defenses for stab, slash, and crush are all 100. Let's say its melee defenses are 150 stab, 100 crush, and 100 slash. You're going to roll damage 3 times. But if it is 150 stab, 150 slash, and 100 crush, you're going to roll damage 4 times. So enemies that are weakest to crush, like the new Mad Angel that just came out, the damage from the mega rare weapon from the breaker is going to roll 4 times. This shouldn't outperform the scythe in slash-based combat, but in crush-based combat, this should really, really outdo the scythe. This should put the scythe in its proper place as the slash mega rare weapon. Obviously, the scythe on crush has been good for a long time. So it's not like when the breaker comes out, suddenly if you only have a scythe, you can't do crush bosses. Right?
Yeah.
But that tells me that the breaker is going to be that much better in its niche style that they're literally saying in the thing. It means that the breaker is by far the best crush option versus larger NPCs, beating out the scythe by a large margin, but competes slightly better versus NPCs with neutral defenses than our previous proposal.
This is giving mega rare vibes, which I'm so happy for, because there was so much talk in the beginning of this month about like, well, what about the scythe? And will this devalue my scythe and make the scythe bad? And blah, 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 blah. Like, this is a mega rare that can stand on its own against what it's good at. And so can the scythe, which is, I think, ultimately what everybody wanted.
I really do like the 1 tile range and the 3 tile target line. So the larger targets, I kind of like that quite a bit. So
really cool.
The breaker has a 1 tile range, but has the unique property of smashing through targets in a 3 tile line. So you'll be able to hit up to 3 targets at once or gain a bonus 20% or 40% damage versus bigger targets. While it doesn't support the highest max hit of all time, your average hit is going to be consistently high. So you'll be turning even the most fearsome foes into little more than debris in no time at all. I really like the flare text that they're adding here.
Fun.
You'll need to charge the breaker using a rune and some kind of secondary charge. a rune of some kind, but they're not really sure, and then ascension shards. Right, same thing you use to make the bolt. So some kind of rune.
What kind of rune
place
are
your
you
bets,
thinking?
Michael. Place your bets, Michael. Nature runes. It's a Gothixian item. If they go with the obligator, it's nature runes.
Go with the nature.
If they go with the obligator, it's nature runes.
I was thinking like astral runes, but I guess or death runes.
It's going to be
probably
it's
either
going to be nature
or
thematically or death, because death is the only high level catalytic rune that currently doesn't use a charge, with blood, soul, chaos, all having a niche use already for charging something. I don't think do death runes charge the Ayak? I know death runes charge like the fucking Trident of the Swamp or something like that, but it's not.
Thugart says in the recording booth, 2 nature and 50 air. Get fucked.
I think nature is a fun thematic thing. 200 nature runes and an ascension shard to charge it would be fun, but I think it'll have a charge.
I think if we're going mega rare, I think Aether runes or soul runes. Well, the shadow takes soul runes, so we wouldn't want to do that, I guess. Yeah, death runes seems like the most likely of choices. Or if we're going with
probably going to be death runes,
because nature runes at what point is it worth it to make you put nature runes in there? They're like 200 GP each, and blood runes are what, like 300 something. Death runes are even cheaper. I think
that's a marginal difference, dog.
I guess so.
Like that's like nature runes are 169, death runes are 185, bloods are 365, souls are 368. Why is that?
Because of the shadow and the scythe.
They're both used to charge mega rares. Chaos runes are linked to the price of the Tazar shop, so they're never going to be that expensive. And then nature and death are the other two that could shoot up. I think nature, I don't know if either one of them economically makes sense.
That's what I was just going to say. See. I think if they make it charge with nature runes, that is going to throw a massive wrench into the alking market, because they're going to shoot up, which makes the already terrible margins of people who use alking and like the rune, like the rune item market for alking, it's going to disrupt it. And I don't think Jagex is ready for that. So if we're going with like combat runes, death runes make the most sense.
They do. I mean, Thugger brings up, what about law runes? If there's a theme element there, I mean, you could look at something like law or cosmic, but they do also serve another purpose. Watch it be like fucking body runes or something like that. But no, I like nature thematically. I bet death is probably the next best option. I think it's cool. We know that old iterations of the breaker had people excited for a new best in slot option at Nex, which was lost in future iterations. To compensate, we'll be lowering Nex's crush defense so that the breaker becomes the new best in slot option here and benefits from all its damaging rolls, which is nice. So this is going to be a cool mega rare weapon. I'm excited to see how you sling that bitch forward. Because if the design changes from the Tazar Keller Titanic Breaker to the Obligator, I think it's weird if you sling a ball forward. I would almost kind of like to see us like hold it over our shoulder.
Oh.
So sweeping it forward like that, I think that would be pretty interesting. But
so on the breaker itself, there's 2 different effects. So special effect, thrust. Rolls damage 2, 3, or 4 times, depending on how many melee defenses are higher than opponent's crush, can hit multiple enemies in a line. We already talked about that. And then an alternate style, smash, looses piercing and damage roll effect from thrust, but attacks at a 3-tick attack rate. So a 3-tick mega rare? Holy.
I'd be really fascinated to see how well that performs against enemies with really, really low crush defenses. I'd be really interested to see what this does against something like a Sarachnis that does not have a really high defense to begin with and doesn't have a really high. Its crush defense is plus 10 and its combat stat is 150 defense. I would be fascinated to see how quickly you could fucking brutalize Sarachnis.
This is going to melt Sarachnis.
With 3 ticks. But I think because of Sarachnis' size, you'd want it on the 5-tick option anyways.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I think this new Mega Rare is going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if/when I will have it on my main, because I imagine it will probably sit around 5 bill on release, just like the Shadow did.
Which Mega Rare are you selling to get it when it boils down to It's good.
I'm not selling any mega rare.
Okay, so I guess you're gonna have to come up with 105 or 1.5 bill in a couple months.
Could always do a rebuild.
A rebuild implies selling. You just said you're not selling anything.
I'm not selling my mega rares for it.
Oh, okay. I guess you take the whole bank and do a breaker rebuild. That'd be fun.
Could be fun. But that, folks, is the Raid Mega Rare, the Raid Reward blog for the Fractured Archive. The poll blog is live now. Go give it a vote. We're not going to sway the poll voting. Do not vote because we told you how to vote a certain way. It's probably a blanket yes from me, not because I'm just trying to simp over whatever, but these are good. These are just good items. They're good additions. I know there was a little bit of controversy because there are only 5 real uniques. There's the Breaker, the Crossbows, the Rondak, the Prayer Upgrade, and the Tome. But I think it was Mod Goblin offered a reply somewhere that was like, yes, there's 5 uniques, but if we look at something like TOA, where the ward is effectively useless and Missouri is 1 unique with extra steps to get the full set, then it really only drops to like 4, right? Like having 5 uniques is one thing, but the context of the uniques is also equally important.
Yeah.
So the way I kind of see it, if we're only going to have 5 purples, they have to get the balance correct with purple frequency. For the love of God, we have to get the frequency of purples correct. We cannot have another TOA where entry modes give shadows. On the flip side, I don't know if we need to have another Chambers where it takes 1,000,000 points on average to get a purple when you get 30k points a raid. Like, I don't think they need to be that rare. I think the difficulty that we ran into is Chambers. While it's a pretty straightforward raid to complete, even as a learner, everybody knows that like your first one, you get your ass kicked by Olm, but over time you get down running head and you're like, this isn't too bad. But the purple raid is kind of infrequent. Tob, I think the rate's like 1 in 9 for a Deathless 4-man, but the skill ceiling is way higher. Like it's a much harder raid. And then TOA, they took the rate of Tob, it feels, with the ease of Chambers and just plummeted it. And we're like, what if you could get the best weapon in the game with a banana 5 invocation? Like that's they have to find some balance of purple frequency to make this raid not have the same kind of effect. If you want to give it a top level effect, make it a hard boss rush, not like miserably hard. You know, like I think Tob is a fair difficulty for a raid where mistakes are going to be punished, but it's very samey with some very simple mechanics. That once you get the simple mechanics down, you can get through it, and you can see purples at a relatively regular enough rate. Make sense?
Yeah,
that's what I would like to see myself.
I'm in the same boat as you. I really hope that with this raid they figure it out, because we've had a lot of different iterations of how purples come from raids and how rewards come from raids. And if it's closer to Tob, I would be fine with that. Like a 1 in 9 seems reasonable if this is going to be something that is already similar to Tob in the sense that it's a boss rush. But the amount of purples right now feels good. Like, yeah, they could have added an armor set. But again, that's like you said, that's 3 drops to get 1 of the items, essentially, if you think about it. So we could have had 8, but then we would have had 3 armor pieces that take 3 different purple chances to get.
And the hybrid armor just didn't seem interesting.
I'm sure it'll still come in the game, but not from a raid.
Yeah, the idea of hybrid armor I think is fine. I think as a raid reward where it's just not best in slot anywhere, it's a waste of a purple slot.
I mean, you could say that about Justy.
No, Justy is best in slot. Justy is best in slot defensively. The problem is RuneScape Combat doesn't reward defense for anything outside of perilous moves.
That's what I'm saying.
So
you're like,
Justiciar is the best in slot defensive armor. If they buffed it and added some flat armor to Justiciar, just saying, if the Rondak works, add some flat armor. Could be fun. That's why Justy isn't as good because the thing that it's best in slot at doesn't
niche.
matter.
Yeah. So they could have added the hybrid armor and it would have had the same effect as Justy. But then again, like if it has the same effect as Justy, just don't put it in because it's just it's a bad experience when you're in a raid and you get a purple and you're like, oh, the hybrid armor helm. Okay, I guess there's 5 mil. So in terms of decision, I'm glad they nixed the armor set in favor of like a more condensed and meaningful drop table.
Oh yeah. I think it's gonna be good. Overall, good drop table. Excited for all the things. I'm very excited for this new raid. I cannot wait to see more of it. I cannot wait to try it out at RuneFest, kind of like we mentioned at the top of the episode.
Potentially. Not guaranteed.
I'd be shocked.
I would be
if
shocked
there's
too,
not
but
like a couple of boss rooms that you could try, you know?
So we're just claiming it. They're having it at RuneFest. We've already
yeah.
We've made it happen.
It'll be, and that's all we're going to talk about related to RuneFest. We're not going to bring up anything else because if we're proven wrong on that, that's fine. We just don't want to be proven wrong on anything else this week specifically.
I know one thing about
releases a news book.
I know one thing about RuneFest. There will be 6,000 people there.
There will be 6,000 people. That'll be very exciting. I hope Jagex doesn't release a poll blog that proves that wrong. That actually it's 5,000 or 10,000 or something like that. So, like we said from last week's episode, Michael and I are keeping our mouths shut. And we're probably going to break. If I'm being entirely honest with you, it seems like a good enough time. We've covered the blog. Give us your guys' thoughts in the Xpwaste chat, what you guys think of the raids and mega rares. And we're going to head to break. And we'll see you guys here in a little bit. So, you're out of work, and you're looking for a career that'll bring purpose, meaning, and value to your life. Well, look no further. We have the opportunity for you. Here at the Grand Exchange, the customer comes first. One of our regulars always shows up wearing what I assume is like 1,000-year-old armor. Andy has one of those abyssal demons following him around, so I'm pretty certain he just owns this place. Here at the Grand Exchange, you'll find working conditions that are second to none, with employee comfort being one of our highest priorities.
Who thought it was a good idea to give our uniforms long sleeves? It's the middle of July, there's no roof on this place. I'm sweating my balls off out here.
Here at the Grand Exchange, we strive to make each and every day worthwhile for our valued staff.
Kids these days have no respect. I've been working here for 54 years and I've never once heard a thank you from any one of these adventurers.
Here at the Grand Exchange, we pride ourselves on our calm and comfortable working environment.
I'm sorry, what was the question? I couldn't hear you. There's too many people screaming. They shout the same things all day long. It's like they're robots or something. Is nobody going to do anything about this?
Here at the Grand Exchange, employee health and well-being are among our top priorities.
Oh my god, she wanted all of it. She wanted all 600 million gold pieces. Do you know how much that weighs? I can't feel my legs.
So come on down to the Grand Exchange and submit your application to become one of Gillenor's happiest and healthiest employees. We look forward to serving you while you serve Gillenor. Here at the Grand Exchange. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that short commercial break because I know that I sure did. If you're watching on YouTube, I changed. If you're not watching on YouTube, low key, the Vermont Green played a bit of a game that was too physical for my liking, and the officiating seemed a little one-sided. How you're gonna card our keeper? That's fucking crazy. But hey, we made it to the natty, even though we lost. What can you do? For the one guaranteed, possibly up to 4 or 5 people who know what that means. See you, big dogs. Otherwise, it's time for our Patreons. Patreons? Patron. Time for our Patreon shoutouts. Michael's shaking his head. We had to take an extended break between part 1 and part 2. So here we are in part 2, baby. We're letting it ride because Oxie can't out-record an episode at a normal time anymore, I guess. But we're going to kick things off by shouting out our patrons in the Wise Old Man tier. There's no new patrons this month. And I don't know if shouting out the Wise Old Man tier is the right term because they're just sort of there. you know, like you look at them and then there they are, you know. I guess if you want to be canonically hated by me, you should subscribe at the Wise Old Man tier. So if there's any part of me that you don't like, whether it's the comment I made about being better than you at PVM earlier, or my political takes, or you just like to troll me, you should subscribe in the Wise Old Man tier and be canonically hated by the Oxie from the Xpwaste podcast. I don't even know how that bit started. I think I forgot to bring you guys up one time, and then it just sort of became like, hey, Oxie hates a wise old man. So I'm a sucker for a bit, I guess. Moving on from the wise old men, though, thankfully, we do have the KBD tier. So big shout out to To Fly, my dad. Hi, Dad. Cloud Kicker, Crash Out Jack, Yama Edition, Elite Oreo Dunker, Rack XX, our third favorite Patreon supporter, Ralph, Run Middle 15, Ryan M, and the Big G Jordy. Thank you guys so much for your subscriptions at the King Black Dragon tier. Your support does mean the world to us. And moving on over to the Jad tier, huge shout out to Franz Skyway, Kyrandia, Mithril 4, and joining us in the recording booth chat tonight, Loznik. Thank you guys so much for your support at the Jad tier. At this point, you guys are making RuneFest possible for us. And that means the world to us. So thank you. So don't think it is for nothing that we're just hoarding a bunch of wealth. We're not. We're using it to go to RuneFest, which is fantastic. And maybe you'll see us there. I almost said something else, but I forgot we're not talking about that this week. Who knows? Maybe you'll just see us there. Maybe you'll just run into us and see us there. And let us know if you guys are going to be there. Let us know. We would love to, I don't know, say hi and hang out. Shit, the last time we met up with people who like just wanted to hang out, we ended up like spending multiple days with in a row. So shout out to you, Strauss. Like, just met someone for the first time. We're like, all right, what up? We're hanging out. So who knows? Who knows what can happen? Ooh, Loznik says, come to the wiki booth and get a scarf at RuneFest. I absolutely will. I did that last year, and I really like the scarf.
My scarf is always in the shot, I think. Right there to, I guess if you're looking at it, it's my right or my left. I don't know. It's always there. I love my scarf.
Yeah, it's very cool. And Loznik, if you're there, be sure to like say hi.
Yeah.
But yeah, Patreon is fun. It's hype. If you want to support us or be hated by me specifically, head over to patreon.com/Xpwaste and you can subscribe for as little as $1 a month. Shout out to the Gnome Child tier. Full stop. End of sentence. You guys are awesome. We're going to jump over now to a segment almost lost to time, but one with enough relevance given past and future events that we'll get back into it. And we're going to talk about the community question. It's been 100 years since you've heard that phrase.
It's been a long time, actually.
And I'm alarmed to even get into this section because a little peek behind the curtain, I believe Michael and I talked about planning a week off. Not as like we're not going to be available, just as sort of like a summer break, right? Here in like, I think 2 weeks. So not this Thursday and not next Thursday, but the Thursday after. And if you're following the calendar, that means that there's going to be 3 weeks between community question responses.
Oh, gosh.
So if you're like, oh, hell yeah, we apologize. But community question time, because we had a lot of answers for the last one. And I only know that because Michael and I, in the last segment, were panicking about how many responses there were, which is why we had to take a long break.
Right. Yeah, I picked out 5 good ones from Spotify. And then I think there's around that many on YouTube. So let's get into it. We asked you many, many weeks ago, if Jagex were to hold an event somewhere else in the world, where would you want them to hold it? And what event would you like to see? So first up on Spotify, Raihowen says, an agility contest hosted in the site of Wipeout or American Ninja with an agility cape as a prize. Other contests with other skill capes would be cool too. That would be actually a lot of fun. I always think that I could do better than those people that you see on TV doing those types of things. Not the American Ninja Warrior, but specifically on Wipeout. I'm like, I could do that. Like, how hard is it? But I assume it's actually really hard because not many people can. So next up, Fizzman15 says, I think we've done enough UK and US events. Bring RuneFest down under. There were a couple other ones calling for some sort of event, not just RuneFest, but other events in Australia. And I think it could be good. Like they could do RuneFest or something, not RuneFest, but they could do something. They could definitely do something in Australia. Next up, Millimeter Peter says, I just want an American RuneFest. As someone who lives in the mid-Michigan, Detroit, or Chicago area, that would be preferred. However, literally any city in the US would be acceptable. Fair game, man. Literally, it would do well in any city in the US as far as turnout goes. Moving on, Zom says, a little selfish of me, but I hope they are able to bring an event to Canada. It's a little more affordable for us folks up here. Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal are all great locations and have held big esports tournaments in the past. I'm sure all the Americans wouldn't mind a small trip up north. Canada was brought up a couple of times as well. Could be good. Last up on Spotify, Melvin Man says, 2 Mauritania-inspired real-life events Jagex needs to host in the US. Event 1, an episode of Wipeout, but it's Howled Sepulchre themed. So basically imagine creators complete a wild obstacle course while J-mods chuck giant swords at them. And number 2, take a huge opera theater, decorate it like Tob, and have a live symphony perform OSRS music. Bonus points if Mod Ash plays the violin. There is probably no amount of money that I wouldn't pay to go to a OSRS themed symphony show in a theater decorated like Tob. I would pay any amount of money to go see that because that would be fucking cool.
That would actually be
That would be sick.
fucking hype.
Yeah.
I think I said last year that I had a really fun musical bit for this particular RuneFest would be a Mauritania themed one because I believe both games got Vampirium expansions. And I think it would be very cool to have both games be featured musically with, call me biased, the best tune as the very end, and that best tune being Fat Lady Sings, but instead of it's Mod Ash with a violin, either bring Kate Smith out, the opera singer, or have all the J-mods get up there in like a choir, just because like I said last year, there's gotta be people who can sing that work for Jagex. So just organize a little choir and do the Fat Lady Sings together. That would be sick.
That would be really cool. Man, here I am getting hyped for things that may never happen again because of the community question. Hate to see it. Moving on over to YouTube now, where we asked you the same question. What's the next event that Jagex could hold in the US or any other city? And which city would be best to host? First up here, Saradoman992 says, like a commenter pointed out in the last question, Jagex is a $1 billion company. Aside from it hurting their profit margin slightly, there's really no reason that RuneFest couldn't be held in the US. As for where, Watertown, New York, only because it's about 50-minute drive for me to get there from Canada. Watertown, New York?
If it's a close drive for you, then sure.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Next on YouTube, Schmidtstain says, well, actually, they wouldn't be called Busco Beep. Busco Beep says, we need an event that is quintessential RuneScape, but the exact opposite of Deadman Mode. With Deadman Mode, it's all about the hype. It's all about the special attacks. It's all about the KOs. But a large majority of RuneScape isn't about that. It's about the day in and day out players. It's about everyone's favorite activity, tick manipulation. We hold it in Topeka, Kansas, because I can't think of any other city more boring. I've never been to Kansas. It just seems like it would be in the middle of nowhere and kind of lame. It's a skilling competition for each skill. 10 players per skill. 1 hour to get as much XP as they can. Competitors can enter a maximum of 10 skills to compete in. Every hour, a new skill starts, and the broadcast switches to watch. As 1 hour passes, the frontrunners start to emerge, and the broadcast can focus on the top 5 players, then the top 3, then the top 2, and hopefully, it's always a photo finish. Also, very important that this event is commented like a golf tournament, practically whispering, and anyone who is there must remain silent apart from a light golf clap at the end of the hour. What skills would you like to watch in this format?
I'm gonna set the scene for you, Busco Beat. All right, I need quiet on set, Michael. Quiet on set. And if we look now, it seems to have players seem to have invested in Dragon Darts, a pretty solid decision at this point in their account. They have 95 fletching, so they still have quite a ways to go here until 99. And if you just watch that wrist precision right there. Watch how that moves up and down. Now this, we haven't enabled plugins for this, and we haven't enabled any sort of screen manipulation. So you got to think, like the camera will zoom in on the player's wrist, right?
We did see Jeremy over there practicing the up and down as he was practicing for this. So it's apparent that these competitors brought their A game today.
You got to imagine the up and down really strains the wrist. Ooh, we've got a dramatic shift here as Michael takes his feathers and moves them from the top to the left side of the dart tips right there.
Why would he do that?
He's going to be using left to right for the rest of this skill. We'll see. Oh, nope. He's moved it back to the top, left to right. Must not have felt very good for him. What do we think? That right there would definitely be one of the events of all time.
In Topeka, Kansas.
You know? That would be one of the events of all time. I don't know if I could.
Listen, Jagex, if you need like shoutcasters, but quiet casters, me and Oxie will do it for you. We will give the best performance you've ever seen when it comes to golf style commentary. Anyway, moving on. Austin says, a RuneScape con would be fun. Have a meet and greets, panels, booth for community creators to sell stuff. Basically RuneFest, but on a smaller scale. Cincinnati, because I'm biased, LOL. Honestly, though, Chicago is probably perfect for east, west, north, south, and international proximity. I don't know what would be different between a con and like RuneFest, but I guess they said it's like a smaller scale RuneFest.
You had me until Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh.
Like, I'm sorry. You had me until Cincinnati, Ohio, dude.
Don't lie. Nutty. You'd go to Ohio for RuneFest if it was in Ohio.
Cincinnati?
Yeah,
of course I would, but I'd need to be compensated by Jagex for that shit. They'd have to pay for my travel down there. I would want Jagex to pay for my flight when I'm realistically 3.5 hours away from Cincinnati, because it's just fucking, it's Ohio. I would rather go to the Topeka, Kansas tick manipulation skilling contest than Ohio.
Anyway, last swap here on YouTube. Inkum says, Orlando, Florida, definitely. And TBH, any event is cool in the US. Everyone was so cool to meet in person, and I don't think it mattered what we were doing, but we all had OSRs in common. The wife and I really enjoyed meeting you guys and people from the clan. You guys are super kind and approachable. Looking forward to events in the future. Love you, Inkum. It was good to meet you and good to hang out with you. But yeah, guys, that's the community question. Lots of great events. I'm particularly excited for the symphony and the tick manipulation contest in Topeka, Kansas. definitely will be the highlight of 2028. Really, can't get better than that. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone who answered the question from a month ago. If you want to answer the question that we'll read in 3 weeks, it will be, what goals are you still working on for 2026? This is just kind of like a mid-year check-in. I know it's almost September, or it will be whenever we read this. But yeah, just let us know any of the goals that you're still working on that you had set for 2026. You can answer that question in the comment section on Spotify or as a reply to the pinned comment on this YouTube video. Throwing it on over now to Oxie for Achievement of the Month, but also Achievement of the Week.
It's been so long, you guys. We have not done an achievement of the week since the episode that we recorded on June 22nd, 2026. So let's dive in to the late night sexy conversation that will be the achievement of the week. Let's kick things off here with the skilling category. It is the biggest and the largest of the categories this week, to the surprise of no one. So everybody strap in and strap on to hear my voice caress your ear holes with these 99s. Kicking things off in the skilling category this month, we have Senior Huesos with 99 fishing and 99 prayer, Paul Mohadib with 99 range, Francine with 99 HP, Biggery with 99 mining, Talk to Alex with 99 hunter and 99 thieving, Small Peen with 99 slayer, Rune with 99 HP, Tuzkel Chuck with a disgusting untrimmed 99 agility cape, The Bee Lawyer with 99 sailing, Clay with 99 crafting, Mighty Dalto with 99 farming, Dice with 99 cooking and 99 construction, Sarah Doman 992, who was joining us in the booth earlier with a 99 smithing, Buckley Boyo with 99 farming, Dice Hunter, different from Dice, not the same person, with 99 attack, EV Cannibal with 99 defense, Bat Fastard, a name we have not heard in a long time on Achievement of the Week with 99 sailing, Blitz with 99 attack, Walt Kidney also with 99 attack, KCT with 99 Slayer and 99 defense, AHQ, Mr. Alpha Hotel Quebec with 99 attack, Peabods with 99 Hunter, Real Crazy with a 99 attack and 99 mining, Woodsy with 99 attack, defense, and range, Fizzman 15 with 99 attack, Deej, is that how you say your name? Oh, no, Dej, duh, not Deej. I don't know why I read it like that. Dej with 99 Slayer, Jafrico with 99 hit points, strength, and 2k total on the iron, and as of right now, in our Corrupted Gauntlet competition that we are running here in TNL, a staggering 72 Corrupted Gauntlet KC, all within the last 30 hours. Disgusting. Desh with 99 mining, Captain Calf 5 with 99 hit points, Remac with 99 range on the Hardcore Iron Man, Only Sibling, Mr. Sibling with 99 range, Discorama with 99 sailing, Antics with 99 sailing, another name we've not heard in a while, and Papa Smurf 080 with 99 mining. Those are a lot of 99s. But we have some additional ones for us here. TNL Learner, Mr. Walazer, Diggy NP, Ontix, and Leroy Jenkins. That's how he writes his name in the Discord. All achieved 2k total level. But finally, there was one more person who maxed this month, if you can believe it. Only one max cape, but they did not do it alone. Mr. Microwave maxed with his son, and his son helped him pop all 11 99s that he was saving up on Mr. Microwave's birthday. So we got a birthday celebration and a max cape. Speaking of birthday celebration, as today, it was actually Voltoro's birthday. I found that out today when they were spamming the CC with collection logs, and I got to hop in there and celebrate that, which was a lot of fun. So happy birthday to you, Voltoro. Moving on over now to the combat category this week, we do have a few first fire capes. We have Apex Wolf with a fire cape on their GIM, Nick Flamel, and Garbage Butt. That's the name, Garbage Butt, all achieving their first fire cape, which is awesome. We do have some more firsts this week. Holy Druid 43 and Loopy Land both killed Zulra for the first time. Shemidi Main, VC Lance, Discreet 1, and Apex Wolf on their main all killed Corrupted Gauntlet for the first time. And unfortunately, Crash Out Jack was not able to obtain his first Fazani's Nightmare Casey. Don't know why I wrote that down. Moving on over to the combat achievements section of the combat achievements portion of Achievement of the Week, Mr. Hawkeye 95, Mrs. Hawkeye 95, I don't think I've ever actually spoken to this person, I don't know, achieved the easy combat achievements, and Mr. Gecko, who I have spoken to, achieved master combat achievements. If you were following along a few weeks ago when I got my masters, Air Mid Juggers, he and I were kind of racing at one point to get him done. I think we both got him done within like a few hours of each other on the same day. He got his masters back already. I have not. So he's winning the long game. Moving on over now to a few of our keynote achievements here in the combat section. Both UUs and Domination, the king of the hot mics. They both achieved their quivers this week. And then finally, after, I believe he said like 60-something attempts, I would have to scroll up through Achievement of the Week and find it because, it's actually not too bad. 6 months, 43 attempts. First Zuck, Diesel Daddy, has achieved their Infernal Cape. Congratulations to you for finally being able to play the game. There will not be as much pressure. I know I always say it. I swear to God, nothing feels worse than your first Infernal Cape. So you've done it. It's a huge accomplishment. We're going to round some things off in the miscellaneous category this week because we do have quite a few fun ones. With the Quest Cape this week, and I did not count people who re-earned their Quest Cape from the Blood Moon Rises, my co-host not included. These are people who earned it for the first time, right? We have Trip and I believe Joffrico on the Iron Man. Those are the two who earned it for the first time. Unless Joffrico earned it again on the Iron. I'm not 100% sure. That dude's a gamer. I know that. We have some more miscellaneous achievements. Let's start off with the collection log ones, because both One Tick Beers and Mr. D4 Drake both achieved 1,000 collection logs, while Mr. YSS, Your Savior Sync, achieved the Dragon Clog Staff, which is what, Michael, like 1,250 collection logs or something like that?
Maybe?
Like, I think. I don't know. I have to look at the top of my head.
Collections logged.
But
Overview.
it's a lot of goddamn collection logs to get the drag, because I think 1,000 is adamant and 1,100 is rune. So I think it's like 1,250 for dragon, because I know Mima just regained his gilded staff. I think Mima regained it with all the new stuff that came out. And he has like 1,525 or some crazy shit like that. So yeah, when you're clogging, you're clogging. Additionally, though, for our final in-game achievement, we have Platypus 4, who joins the few and the proud, who are, speaking of collection logs, able to don the Champion's Cape. He called it the Cannon Cape for being able to cannon so many NPCs. So congratulations to you, Platypus. It's always an exciting object to get. Well, that'll be one day. That's what I should start doing on the main, honestly. While I sit here and you know, just like throw myself at the corrupted gauntlet, I should start cannoning some, like, you know, what are they Jogers? Is that the champion scroll, or ghouls, or earth warriors, or some shit like that? That's what I should do.
All of those are champions.
I should start cannoning those guys on the main. We do have some quote unquote non-RuneScape achievements. I don't know why I say quote unquote. There's only one that is technically a RuneScape achievement, and we're going to start with that one because Small Peen achieved the 20-year cape in RS3. I said it was a bit of an emotional moment because both he and his twin brother, I believe, both have the 20-year capes, and they were standing in Lumbridge together. So 20-year cape. It's pretty fucking cool. Additionally, Dice, not Dice Hunter, different Dice. The Dice we talked about earlier, the first Dice. Is it the OG Dice? I don't actually know who was there first. But he got his Masters of Astrology. So he's a Master of the Stars. Congratulations. Busco Beep, the answerer of the community question, and I believe Infernal Cape Haver, if memory serves me correctly, has had a funny feeling like he's being followed again with his second child. Spin Cycle has finally purchased their player-owned house, which is exciting, and Bros Etana achieved 99 relationship. 99, is it 99 girlfriend, 99 fiance, whatever it is, he got married. So congratulations. What do we think? What do we think that is? Is that 99 girlfriend or is 99 girlfriend a fiance? Because I feel like fiance is a really weird interim level, you know?
Yeah.
Like
99
you're not a fiance for a
relationship?
long time. Yeah. 99 dating, maybe? How about
99,
that?
yeah.
You know? Because like I feel like once you get into like the mid 80s, then you get to like the fiance level. And then the XP per hour just is pretty stable and it just cruises right to 99 for most cases. Some people do it slow and they pick really, really slow training methods because their engagement's like 6 years long, but other people don't. Other people can just speed right through it. You know, some people choose to salvage and some people choose to glide. But hey, no, a better analogy, some people choose to craft bloods and souls, and some people choose to pay for runners. Just depends on what you need in your relationship skill. You know what I'm saying? But after all of that, after all of those glorious things that people have done over the last 5 or 6 weeks, that will wrap up Achievement of the Week. Congratulations to the dozens and dozens of you who were featured on this particular instance of Achievement of the Week. And congratulations to everyone else who did achieve something awesome. I think Young Mac posted something earlier that they got a fucking like glory on the iron. And that's a cool achievement. Everybody knows that is a cool achievement, right? Because for some accounts, no, a glory is not a particularly impressive item. But if it's your first glory on a new Iron Man, that's a huge unlock, right? People post about 99s. People post, I think Vespolar posted something about RS3 a couple of times. And the amount of people who have been posting about completing Bloodroot Rises has been awesome. And the sentiment is exactly the same. Jesus Christ, that was hard. But man, that was good. So if you haven't done Blood Moon Rises yet, consider getting to it. And if you did something awesome and you want to tell us about it, head over to discord.gg/OSRSTNL. Post about it in the levels and achievements chat. That is the best and only place that we look for achievements to put in this here section. So if you post it somewhere else, like an events chat or an awesome drop or a collection log, right? And you're like, oh my God, why didn't they shout my shit out? Because I didn't see it. I just didn't see it, you know? Post it in levels and achievements and then come hang out. It's Saturday night and you know for a fact we got the Raiders out there. The Saturday night Raiders are out and they are aplenty. We've had a pretty solid day today with active VCs. We have a competition running right now. Well, Osnick says he completed Blood Moon Rises and then immediately Desert Treasure 2. Which, good God, man. That sounds rough. That's a lot of questing. That's holy shit. That's a lot of questing.
Yeah, it's back. That's quite the back to back.
Why don't you take a night off and redo Song of the Elves just for a little treat, you know? But yeah, come head over. But we've been talking for a little while, and it's late. And honestly, my shirt is kind of wet because it rained today, so it's probably about time to end it. Michael, I swear to God, if I have to look at the Google Gemini pop up on Google Docs one more time, I'm gonna crash out.
Well, why
I don't
crash
ever
out?
want to ask Gemini anything ever.
Well, you don't need to.
I don't need to, and I won't. I have no reason to.
It can't hurt you, Oxie.
I am not. But it is because I live in the state with a lot of water, and it's taken our water to make shitty products and give me shitty answers. I'm not asking Gemini or Copilot or Claude or ChatGPT fucking anything.
Don't do it. Well, you need to set us up for a fun question, so I'm not going to talk until you do.
Oh, I feel like you should just leave that bit in there of just the awkward silence in between. That actually be pretty funny because I don't know why I thought we already transitioned into it. But Michael, do you have a fun question for us this week?
Wow. Yes, I do. And it comes in the form of a postcard from our friend Nate Dogg, who went to the cherry blossoms in Hirosaki Park. Beautiful, beautiful place. I've never been to Japan, but maybe one day I'll go. our friend Scape is in Japan, and I hear he's having a great time. Can't wait to see that guy. So, fun question from Nate. If OSRs were to get a major area expansion based on an IRL location, where would you choose? What would be the story for the quest? What bosses and or gear would there be? I think the easy answer, and the one that I'm going to choose, based off of, we're going to have a OSRs expansion based off of Japan. It's going to lean really into like the ancient samurai and that whole like aesthetic. Cherry blossoms everywhere. I don't know actually what Japan looks like. So as far as like the area itself, that's going to be a mystery to me. But the aesthetic is going to be like ancient samurai, lots of cool quests, new weapons, new armor, a new raid.
Flesh it out, baby. What's there?
Well, you have a Pokestop at every corner. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what's in Japan. So I mean, I know what's in Japan, but like
we had all day to think about this fun question.
Well, I was editing. So
we had all
I'm glad
day.
your question.
Michael said, I'm going to read you the answer. I'm going to read you the question now so you can think about it, and then put zero thought into it.
Why you got to throw me under the bus like that? It's too late for this.
I'm the bus driver, man. Fear is in shambles in the recording booth chat. Michael's like, oh yeah, Japan, the one with all the Pokestops.
Could be nice. What? Okay, so where would you put an OSRS area expansion?
I also had the thought process of Japan, and I was like, oh yeah, you could do like all the old royal buildings. You know, when you think of like I don't know the name of the art style off the top of my head. Picture a Japanese building, like an old Japanese temple, that style building everywhere. Make there a hunter area with the obvious cherry blossoms. Give us the opportunity to, sit and rest. Maybe there's a small quest where you have to help put a Zen garden together. You get 5,000 farming XP. A pagoda, yes, Fear. You get 5,000 farming XP, and then like little tokens that you can get while farming that you can use to like sit down for 5 seconds and restore your run energy, because like a Zen garden type
neat,
deal.
Yeah.
And then like that'd be a fun little quest, and obviously samurais, dragon fights, blah blah blah. But you've already done that, and I figured you would, so I had to think of some semblance of backup. And there were two that come to mind. The first is a sailing-based expansion, and we are going to base it off of both of the poles at the exact same time. So we base the exploration and the dangers of the sea off of the Drake's Passage and Antarctica. We introduce a new master level sailing quest that has us travel far south of Gielinor to a new frozen plain, uninhabited and unexplored by anyone. Not even the brave Fremeniks have gone this far south. And the waters are treacherous, all new kinds of creatures, and the quest has you embark on your first ever sailing boss fight. It's a quest boss fight. It's not like a big PVM boss, because I don't know how that would work. Maybe it introduces a sailing boss, but you fight essentially like a drake. If it's based off of the Drake's Passage, you fight like a water drake. And then when you defeat the boss, the fog clears and you arrive at this new frozen island. And there's nobody here. And you work with a bunch of people to set up a camp. I'm not thinking like a player-owned camp expansion like they have on Anachronia. I'm not thinking that, but that could be a good spot for it. Could be an interesting little research camp. And then you have some new Slayer monsters there. And then you have maybe, I don't know, like a frozen entity, or maybe it sets up another bigger, broader quest. Maybe that's where, they have to go for Ritual of the Majorat or something. So that's why that area is important. The other thing I thought of is I feel like there's nothing for Africa. And when you think of Africa, Michael, what do you think of?
Savannah, probably.
What's in the savannah?
Animals.
animals, you think of animals, right? Add Africa as almost like a fraternal twin to Varlamore, only instead of small creatures, it's big. Like you're talking like big game hunting.
Yeah.
You're talking
Oh.
like savanna mammoths and gigantic dangerous cats, like related to Larupias, but bigger and far more aggressive, that you need to like set dynamic traps for. Now, obviously, I don't know much about Big Game Hunter in RS3, but I think that could be a fun introduction for various mammalian species.
Big word.
And then maybe you have. I'm full of big words, dude. I don't know how many times I'm full of big words. And then maybe as a fun quest and a fun little PVM excursion, they introduce some mythical rhinoceros. Maybe it starts as a really fun, like all the children in the local town are like, yeah, there's a magical unicorn that like, but like our friends are going missing when they go look for the magical unicorn. And it starts as this really cheesy, like you're looking for a magical unicorn, and then turns out it is like a rabbit is not the right word, but like a
Deranged.
hyper aggressive, deranged, possessed rhinoceros. And you have to save the kids that are essentially trapped in this rhinoceros's lair.
Oh.
And they're like, hey, we've seen others come by and stop it, but it will come back. We've got to get the hell out of here. And you get the hell out, and you get a repeatable rhinoceros boss fight. And maybe the rhinoceros drops armor or an upgrade or something like that to add more flat armor to the game, to tie it back to our conversation we had earlier about the Rondak. That would be a lot of fun. So I think a Slayer, a Sailing Slayer and Quest expansion in the far south, or a Hunter PVM, not exploration, that's not the right word, but like Hunter PVM expansion based off of Africa, you know?
Those are great ideas. Really. Like the Antarctica one sounds exciting. I mean, it would be hard to make content for that type of expansion, because if nobody is there, what is there for the player to do? Like, you can't make up your own quests, you can't set up your own shops. So, like there would be a lot of interesting storytelling to be told. And
maybe there's a magical
the
resonance. Maybe there's a magical resonance that calls you, or it calls a group of people there. Maybe it's a group of people we already know. Maybe it's a magical resonance that call the White Knights there or something. And they're like, this is kind of impressive. And the White Knights are going because we know this is dangerous. So we're sending a few of our knights along with you. And then you fight the Great Drake, or whatever it is.
Right.
It doesn't have to be called that. I'm just thinking like Drake's Passage, Antarctica, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not even a dragon at all. Maybe it's like a giant whale, you know, and people just don't get the stories right, because that's what happened for so long. And Fierce says we really need a Cold War continuation. So maybe that would be a lot of fun, is if we get there drawn by some magical force, and then we find that's the Cold War story continuation.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
That could actually, because I forgot about the Cold War quest line, that could be a really fun addition. I also think it would be very fun to have another like artifact buried under the ice, you know, or something that has larger quest line implications. Like something was called there and we happened to find the penguins and stop the penguins, but like that didn't stop the readings. Like something is still here.
Yeah.
But we'll do some more digging and we'll get back to you on that. You know, in the meantime, we've set up some shops and we've brought some supplies with us in case you need something in your travels, but something still isn't right. You know, we've stopped the penguins, but something still ain't right.
The penguins are, I spacebarred that quest, and both times that I've done it, I don't know enough about the penguins to be like super excited about that idea. But like any quest that gets updated usually is a fun experience.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad. Well, Nate Dogg, thank you so much for that question, and for sending us a postcard all the way from Tokyo. this will go back up on the wall.
That's he got my Yveltal from Japan too. So
nice.
shout out to you, Nate. I realized there's nothing. There's nothing behind me. There's nothing there because I had to move everything in my apartment and then move some of it back because I'm waiting to see if I actually have to move things. You're like, oh my god, Oxie, are you moving? Unfortunately, no, I'm not. Not yet, anyways. But
nice. Yeah. Well, if you want to send us a fun question, you can do so many different ways. You can email us, send us a message on Discord, post it in the fun questions section on Discord, or send us a postcard. The P.O. Box address will be in the description below, so you can check that out. And I check the P.O. Box probably like every month. So just be patient. If you send a postcard and it's been a couple weeks since we've read it, I probably have it. It's just a matter of reading it. So that's the fun question.
hell yeah. Well, folks, if that's the fun question, then that means that's the episode. It's been a lot of fun talking about raids. It's been a lot of fun connecting with the community again. Lord knows it's been 400 years since we've been able to do content like this. So we appreciate your guys' patience. A little window into about the next month. Michael and I are going to probably release one more episode, and then we're going to take a short summer break for just a week. We'll have a week off. And then in the near future after that, going into early September, we will ideally have at least one guest, if not two, over the next couple of weeks. We've already got one thing on the calendar. We might be able to get some more stuff on the calendar. And then we're going to RuneFest, baby.
So exciting.
Which is good and bad, because the week of RuneFest, we might actually have an episode the week before RuneFest, because I'm leaving on Monday, so we might be able to do something the week before.
We'll see.
In any case,
yeah, we don't know.
In any case, Michael and I have some exciting things planned. You might see some other stuff from us too. We'll see. We'll see if we can get the plane tickets. We'll see. That's the last little teaser we'll give you. For now, though, folks, go check out all the links in the description. Join the Discord. We'd love to see you. But we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.